Episode 2.
Hey,
We're live.
We're back from LA.
Woo!
Damn.
pumped.
Damn.
Pumped.
Fucking
Mooney's
pumped.
Mooney's more excited than any of us
Fucking
here.
pumped. I still got the pre-workout in my system.
Still got the
I think
pre.
that's why.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff for that. That was dope.
Jeff
Rose.
Logan. We saw him at the LA Fit this past weekend. Hooked us up with some of his new pre-workout,
Yeah.
and it's dope. He's got a whole
Yeah.
lot of new products.
Great flavor.
So
There's
yeah,
not
I got.
normally good grape flavor pre-workout. So
Yeah.
shout out to that.
I was a huge fan of it. It was actually, it went down amazing. It felt like I was drinking like liquid grape Tootsie Rolls. It was awesome.
You always put so much water in your pre-workout. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Bro.
It's like a.
I put a lot in mine too.
It's like 20 ounces.
I
feel
fill my whole cup up before I pre.
I drink
like.
it.
Fill it up with some drink.
Yeah.
I drink it
That
mine.
purple drink.
Purple drink.
I drink mine a lot, like during my workout. A lot of times
I-
I don't drink the whole thing at once.
Yeah, so like so I don't know what's up, but like most of the time with pre-workout, everyone's like, I drink it about 15 to like 30 minutes before my workout. But in my case, I actually drink it during my workout,
Yeah.
and it's just something I've always done, and I'm not sure why I do it. So I'll prepare like my pre-workout and my BCAAs, and I'll drink like both of them at the same time.
Yeah. I've mixed,
That's
I've
what
mixed them.
Big Rich used to do all the time, and like
Who?
it makes sense. Piana.
Oh,
Back
yeah,
in the day.
context.
Yeah, sorry. Rich Piana used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
He would preach about mixing your BCAAs with your pre-workout because that way
Right.
there's no like drop off. Like if you have like a pre-workout that kind of maybe sucks
Mhm.
and like you drop off, like there's no way of dropping off if you're like constantly. It's like
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Whenever I take my pre-workout hella early, like 30 minutes before, I feel like something always happens and I don't work out right away.
Oh yeah.
And then just wasted the pre-workout.
Oh, you mean like when we all chugged a ton of pre-workout and then didn't deadlift and then sat in a crowd full of people itchy as fuck?
That for sure happened this weekend when we went down to Iron Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Iron Wars 3, that was tight.
We
man.
were like, let's take this pre-workout. We all took our pre-workout. Or I didn't take my pre-workout. You guys all took your pre-workout.
Yeah, my ass was tired.
And
took
then
mine
we
all
got in the
fast.
car to drive there, and we got stuck in LA traffic.
Yeah.
And it took us hella long to get there.
You want to explain a little bit about what Iron Wars is?
Yeah. Well, we should just put in context what just happened. Like,
Yeah.
so we just got back from the LA Fit. This is Monday. LA Fit just happened this past weekend. All three of us and then some other buddies, we all went down for the Fit Expo. It was a good time.
It was a hell. It was probably the best expo we've ever been to.
Yeah, it was probably one of the most fun expos we've gone to. This is
Yeah.
the shortest expo we've gone to because I feel like we
Yeah,
weren't
yeah.
there. In the grand scheme of things, we weren't there very long. But
Yeah.
overall, it was probably the most productive expo we've been to.
Right. Yeah. When I say the best expo, I don't mean like the most fun or anything, but from like a business standpoint, because like we go to these expos to network and introduce ourselves and stuff, and we went there and we had quality conversations with a lot of big names, and we found out some of these big names are already aware of who we are, and it was just an awesome thing. We're trying to get some of these guests or some of these big names on this podcast and kind of bring you guys the best product possibly can.
Yeah, it's cool because we've been going to these expos for since we started the company. Basically, we've been going to these
Yeah.
expos, and the first couple ones were like, nobody really knows us, and then gradually people start to recognize us. We start making some minor connections, and then once you start going to these expos consistently, you start seeing the same people over and over and again, and then you start slowly becoming ingrained in like
Right.
their outlook, and you become better friends with them. You become better acquaintances, and so
you actually
you start
develop
building
relationship
a
with
better
these people.
relationship, and it's awesome because now it seems like those relationships are starting to kind of pan out a little bit more, like,
Yeah.
and it's cool. And it's cool because it was Jeremy's first like official big expo.
Yeah.
I mean, we did San Jose, but
San Jose, yeah,
that's
San
the,
Jose
that's
was
the expo
cool,
we
but
won't talk about anymore because
Yeah, that was
a
odd.
bust.
That was an odd
Yeah,
experience.
there's some weird stuff, but yeah, for me it was really crazy. It was just I got to meet like some of my biggest inspirations in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
Bradley Martin, that was cool. CT Fletcher, I had a long conversation with him. Like that was sick.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
blew my mind. I actually competed last minute. I competed in Iron Wars at Iron Addicts, and
So, just before you start talking about that, the day before we went to the LA Fit, we went to the Iron Addicts gym, which is CT Fletcher's gym, if you guys don't know, and they hold this thing called Iron Wars, where a bunch of just absolute monsters
Everybody was there.
pack into this gym, and his gym's not very big, and everybody there is pretty huge, so it was just a packed house, and there's like competitions for bench and
curl
deadlift.
and deadlift and
Deadlift,
squat.
all
and
that stuff.
squat, and
Yeah, and
Like-
at the very last second, they wanted to see who was going to squat. It was late at the night.
yeah, nobody wanted to squat.
Yeah,
Everybody, nobody. It was like being at a 24-hour fitness on a Monday. Nobody wanted to squat.
Yeah,
Everyone was running.
Yeah, over the microphone, they had to
That's
ask
funny.
everybody like several times, and then we kind of threw Jeremy to the wolves, and it kind of
It actually worked out.
panned out for
Became
the better.
best competition, I think.
It
Yeah.
panned out for the
Low-key.
better for him for several different reasons, and just
Yeah,
made the
I
trip.
met some great people, had some great conversations, and it was tight.
It was cool.
Yeah.
There was like
tight.
literally everybody you could think about was at
Yeah.
Iron Addicts.
Yeah,
Like
Billy Blanks was there.
Billy
Eric
Blanks,
the Trainer
Eric
was
the
there.
Trainer.
Kevin DeHulk Washington was there. Mike Rashid was there. Big Rob, of course, was there. CT, of course. Samson. Bradley Martin was there.
Martin, Strength Cartel.
Strength.
Big
All
Boy.
of Strength Cartel was there. Gym Gang
Courtney
was
Olsen
there.
was there.
Yeah, Courtney Olsen.
Courtney
Who's
Smashing
doing-
watermelons.
Yeah,
Smashing
she's doing
watermelon.
huge things for like the whole women empowerment movement, which I
Yeah.
think is pretty sick.
That is actually really cool.
She's killing it right now. So yeah, but that was an awesome thing. And
Bobby
that was like
Maximus was there.
that was like the very beginning.
Who
So
else was there?
the next day,
One-legged
LA
monster.
Fit happened.
Oh yeah.
yeah, we're talking over each other in style. So, but the next day was LA Fit, and then like we said, it was awesome,
Yeah.
to say the least.
It was a good experience. Venice was crazy too. Like
Oh, yeah.
being down in Southern California. It's nice because being in Oregon, like I don't know, it's like a small area, and so
It's way different.
we saw more people in one day than we normally see in like probably a week up here.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
The biggest thing I thought was just odd and almost like kind of sad to see was Muscle Beach.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Muscle Beach has become a shithole.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was bummed about
Understatement of the year. Muscle Beach is a straight up trash can.
Yeah, dude.
that.
Almost literally.
It literally
Yeah,
is.
There was trash in there.
It's super disappointing because like
bird shit.
growing up, like that was like everyone always talked about Muscle Beach, like that's Arnold's territory,
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
Venice bodybuilding, like.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then we went. I went there a couple years ago, and it was like, oh, okay, this is all right. It's not as
Right.
cool as it was because there's not like a ton of people out there. And then this year when we went, like literally, like everything was rusted over. The benches were all like covered in like saran wrap and like ripped up. It
And
was
like
Yeah.
duct tape. It was,
yeah,
it was
just
it was
trash.
like-
Nobody was
It
working
was like
out.
vultures.
It
in
looked like
there,
you would
it was
need
crazy.
tetanus.
Oh,
You
for
need
sure.
a tetanus shot just to work out there.
Zero
Like
maintenance.
per one rep is a tennis shot.
It's crazy.
Definitely.
You can tell everybody who's supposed to maintain it probably doesn't even like
They don't
work
yeah,
out.
They don't give a fuck about it
Yeah,
anymore.
it's crazy, dude.
And
It's
it's
sad,
crazy.
though.
It's even more crazy because right across they have like a brand new supplement store with Muscle Beach
Right.
like nutrition or
Just
whatever,
blasted all
and
over
it's
it.
just super nice. Everything's well maintained. It's like
Yeah, they got
you
supplements.
guys
and
couldn't
stuff.
upgrade the fucking Muscle Beach.
I actually kind of find that annoying because
it's like a historical.
yeah,
monument.
yeah, and they're like,
Yeah.
let's shit on this place, use its name to sell supplements, which probably suck. You know what I mean?
Those
But
dudes
not
got kicked out of the expo too. Did you hear about that?
Who did?
Those Muscle Beach guys.
Oh, I thought it was like a bar star thing.
No, it was the Muscle Beach nutrition guys.
Oh,
That's what
I
Gabe
heard
was
about
telling-
that.
Gabe was telling us that.
yeah. Gabe Moen,
Shout out to Gabe.
mutant, kind of a friend of ours. He actually coaches my wife now. Him and his wife Stephanie.
Hey,
Yeah, which
Oh,
is
Gabe's
sick.
coaching Brittany.
Yeah,
That's dope.
she picked them up as their coach. She's trying to
Liddy Britty.
do her thing.
Liddy
for
Britty about to
2018.
fucking crush shit.
And yeah, I don't know. I was right next to them, and they did a whole FaceTime about coaching and stuff. And he's the real fucking deal. So
Oh, he's one of my favorite bodybuilders, and it's so crazy to me that he still hasn't got his pro card yet because he
Oh, dude.
always is grinding, and he's way bigger than fucking
Yeah.
everybody.
He's like 6'3".
He is massive.
Yeah, he looks. It's crazy because like he's one of those people you see on social media who look huge, and then you meet him in person, and you're like, oh my god, he's way like social media makes Gabe look small. It's weird.
Oh yeah.
Like Gabe like looks jacked in social media, but he's 10 times bigger in person. It was
Yeah.
the first time I met him, I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
that's like the opposite of what usually happens.
Yeah,
dude.
usually that's the opposite. Usually it's like these guys look huge, and then you see him in person, and there's like 4'2" and 100.
And that's what it
for
is.
sure.
Is like you look at Gabe on social media, and you're like, oh, okay, he's big, and then you would just assume like every other bodybuilder that he's like 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah,
But then you
dude.
see him in person, he's fucking huge. He's like
Yeah.
6'2".
Yeah, he's
and
just a big,
jacked.
big, friendly, nice dude. I mean, I don't know.
Probably
tough.
get him
Yeah,
on.
I think I think
Probably
I
get
think
him
there's
on
not a
the
time
podcast.
I've never seen him laugh or smile.
Oh yeah, dude.
Every
Oh,
time
for
I've
sure.
ever looked over, he's always Emerald Cup, dude. The whole time, just laughing and smiling.
yeah.
With
Yeah,
everyone.
he's a super positive guy. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Probably get some content with him coming up in the future.
yeah,
He's not that far from us, only like 7-8 hours.
Yeah,
drive?
something like that.
Yeah, because he's in Tacoma, huh?
Talked to him about getting him on the podcast at some point. So
Yeah.
in the future.
He actually mentioned having Brittany, well, and all of us come up to the gym because he wants to show her what like an intense workout should be, like what kind of workouts he wants.
Ooh.
And he said, the whole crew can come up and we can all work out together, and it would just be sick, dude.
That'd
Let's
actually
do
be
that.
great.
Let's do that.
Maybe I'll
Yeah.
get a working with
Let's set
Javi.
that up ASAP.
It'd be awesome, dude. Yeah, for sure. So that's what it's all about, you guys. Networking and just take advantage of opportunities.
And
You're
just
out
being
there.
real,
Speaking of massive people,
Me,
should we talk? No. Should we talk?
I don't want to talk about myself, dude. Sorry.
Besides the 3 massive dudes in this room,
The
let's-
2 massive dudes, 2, and they're on this side of the room.
Oh,
I'm
should we talk
actually-
about the workout that just happened?
Yeah, should
How
we
I
talk
crushed you in
about
the
how-
Zerchers.
Oh well, I smoked you all in incline.
I crushed you in the triceps.
All right,
too.
you guys. Back to the subject.
Mooney's
Let's
stronger
take it
than
out to
I
the
feel-
gym, bro.
I feel some animosity coming up.
I
I
did
don't
well,
like
brother.
it.
But anyway, speaking of massive dudes, how about that boy Martin Ford?
Yo, Martin.
Oh, dude.
Massive.
Yeah, so
Homeboy's crazy.
if you guys don't know who Martin Ford is, definitely look him up.
You for sure have
Mart-
to know who Martin Ford is.
Martin with a Y, right?
Yeah, Martin
Yeah,
with a Y.
he's kind of the face of 5% now.
Yeah.
Ever since Rich.
R.I.P. Rich.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, he's kind of taking over 5%, doing his thing with that. So, but he's the fucking man.
He's
dude.
one of the hardest working dudes out there.
Oh yeah.
Undoubtedly.
He told me
if you know about him.
it's
undoubtedly.
11 movies in the last 2 years.
Yeah, dude.
On top of doing the Expo circuit. Like
That's crazy.
that's
There's a
nuts.
lot of
And he
expos.
still smiles.
Yeah,
People don't even realize.
So he's crazy because he just looks like this mean motherfucker. But
He's
then
one of the nicest.
yeah, you
fucking
meet
dudes.
him and he's just like he's just super nice. Like it's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
he's tight.
You gonna show me your impression of?
No, I don't. I don't want to do an impression because
He'll punch you through
He'll
through
punch-
iTunes.
He'll literally
choke the
he'll
life out
punch
of you.
through me. He's huge, dude. It's crazy. Homeboy's like 6'5" and like 400 pounds. I
The
swear.
funniest thing in the world is he's so mad. He's like 6'8", probably like 350 right now, 370,
Yeah,
maybe somewhere in that range.
probably, dude.
He's like-
He's so
he's
wide,
like-
dude.
He's like, somebody came up to me and said, "Looks like he lost some weight." I was like,
dude,
I
he
was
was
like,
looking
God
like
forbid
yeah,
that ever happens to me.
yeah, he was
Like-
he was looking like a horse at the fucking expo, dude. It was crazy. But we had a hella good conversation with him, and Mooney, if you guys don't know, used to be sponsored by 5%, and actually had an opportunity a couple years ago to hang out with Martin.
Yeah,
and
I've known Martin
get-
for a while now. It's pretty
get
awesome.
some
He's a good guy.
he got some lunch with him and got to know like the real Martin, stuff like that. So he's a good dude. I don't know. I mean, there's tons of good dudes in the fitness industry. I kind of gets a bad rap.
It does.
There are a lot of douchebags.
Even
no
Bradley.
doubt.
Even Bradley had that whole thing where everyone's like, Bradley's a douchebag. Everything.
Yeah, dude.
Bradley's super fucking nice.
Yeah, so
He's one of the greatest, one of the nicest dudes. I've never not seen him smile.
Yeah,
Brett Martin.
he's a positive fucking
Yeah,
guy.
Bradley Martin.
Yeah, that was really weird. I feel like there was a kind of a time not even that long ago where people were like Bradley's kind of a douchebag. Bradley's doing,
Ripping him
and I'm
apart.
like, I don't think so.
Well, we're not.
Like, and then when I met him and we were talking, I was like, dude, this is one of the coolest fucking dudes. Like he was so damn nice and just like really engaged in like conversations with everyone.
Yeah.
Well, I've learned not to. I mean, if any shit happens, like I don't judge anybody
Yeah,
right away
exactly.
because, dude, you never know. And especially social media is weird because like people feel like the need to choose sides.
Yeah,
And that
it's,
whole like
it's super annoying.
The
The whole-
internet is bullshit just
It
in
is,
general.
dude.
Yeah.
Like,
the
most
whole
of it.
Bradley Callum thing. Like they're both tight. They're both doing their thing.
Dude,
They're
I still
both
like
different.
them the same, both of them.
Yeah.
No, I'm not like, oh fuck Bradley. I'm like, dude, Bradley's still tight and still squats 315
Yeah.
on a hoverboard.
So strictly based off of my experience with him,
Yeah,
that's all I can go off of. I
Yep.
mean, what am I?
And even
That's
outside
it,
of the
dude.
expos, like
That's
like we said, he was at Iron Wars. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not trying. Like that's a big area where everybody's doing crazy things. Like everyone's like, it's not an expo where like everyone's going there strictly to meet him. He's just hanging out
Yeah.
there. So he's not putting on a show necessarily. you
No,
know?
dude. There were
So-
several people trying to put on a show and get attention. He
Yeah,
was like,
believe me.
he was like there, just like a normal dude.
Yeah.
It was cool. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name some of the people that were there that were putting on a show just for attention and dropping names
Yeah.
like they're big time, but we'll leave that. But there were definitely some people out there that
For sure.
are
Dude.
the douchebags of the industry.
Everyone's always trying to be cool. I mean, I don't know, except for us.
I actually, you know who was super cool to talk to this time at the expo was Gigi.
Well,
That was tight.
yeah, he's
'Cause
cool.
Your
There's
boy
like
Juji.
That's a
there
wild.
was-
That's a wild dude.
there was
One of the wildest dude.
yeah.
I wish I could have a tenth of his energy.
So if you don't know who
Dude,
Gigi,
you would probably blow up
if you guys
had
don't,
that.
tight. Just kidding.
Oh, sorry, we cut you off.
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't realize Jeremy was here.
We've all been cutting everyone off.
Yeah.
It's the pre-workout.
Go
Anyways,
for it.
Juji's for you, any of you guys who don't know who that is, he's just crazy fucking dude with this crazy wild line manes of a hair, and he just like does the splits with like 225 and like presses it and does all this crazy stuff.
Acrobats.
Acrobats, yeah.
Or he's acrobatic. He is an acrobat.
He does stuff. That's
Isn't it
tight.
Acrobolics? That's his brand. Like,
Oh no shit.
Acrobolics.
Yeah.
That
That's
makes so
actually
much sense.
super sick.
That's tight as fuck.
Anyways, had a conversation with him because there was towards the end of the expo and it was super cool.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to what we said before. Like we met him before, and then you saw him. Didn't he like recognize you though?
Yeah, he did. It was actually really cool.
Yeah, so-
he recognized me from the expo. He didn't know which one. He just recognized me, which was tight.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the best part. That's the most fun thing. Like now, I'm like really looking forward to going to the next one because it's gonna be a whole. Once again, it's gonna be a whole different type of experience.
and it's even bigger. The one
Yeah.
that we're going to.
Yeah, the next one we're going to is the Arnold in March, and it's pretty cool because like for whatever reason, the majority of our supporters are in the Midwest.
Really?
We don't like advertise towards that or anything. It just happened. So
I
like,
have noticed
straight
that.
blue collar.
It's
man.
weird,
It's
dude.
Blue collar.
it's
AF.
cool though. I'm actually glad it's like that. So, but yeah, last year we went to it, and we were much smaller, and we got recognized by a lot of people walking around, and it was dope. So
Dude,
like,
we had like a full-on meetup. Like at one point, like
Yeah.
there were like 15, 20 people.
yeah, dude, I know, I remember that. So this coming time in March, if you're not going, definitely try to get out there. It's the biggest expo, right?
Yeah, biggest in the world, I think.
Yeah, and they it's not just like booths setting up, giving out supplements. It's like there's competitions like MMA and there's like boxing, right? And like weightlifting.
Strong man,
Yeah.
world's strongest man's there. They have powerlifting. They have female powerlifting, which
Yeah.
was badass as shit last
yeah.
year. Remember that?
I forgot about the strong.
Some
dude.
strong women, man.
Yeah, there's so much entertainment. It's crazy, dude. So
But it's fun because it's not just a fitness expo. It's literally like just competition after competition after competition,
Yeah.
and then the booths are there, like
Yeah.
if in between, like the lull.
yeah,
So,
it's gonna be sick, dude.
but we
I'm
are
so
not
excited.
doing a booth there.
No, that's we've been talking a lot about the whole setting up a booth at these big expos thing, and if it's worth it, and because I don't think a lot of you guys listening probably understand how much those things cost. You probably have a rough idea, but if you're really looking into it, like
They're
us,
expensive, and they gouge
it's
you.
unreal.
They gouge you on little things like
Oh, dude.
simply getting electricity
Yeah, dude.
is more expensive than you would imagine.
Yeah. Well, it cost us $500.
Yeah, it cost us $500 at the last expo we did,
W-
just to
To
play
charge our
to
phones.
charge our phones and play some music for the surrounding booths, which actually in turn brought more traffic to the surrounding booths.
Undoubtedly.
So otherwise, it was just completely awkward. It was a really bad setup for the expo in general, but on top of that, it was just so quiet, like no energy. And so as soon as we played some music, it started picking up a little bit. Our area ended up being one of the most popular and like crowded areas
Yeah.
in the whole expo. And
Because it's like the most fun area, you know?
But
Music is powerful.
I remember they were just we didn't have that. We didn't even have that much stuff. Literally, we had one trailer full of stuff. Probably I don't even know how many boxes, but it was just
Yeah.
one trailer.
Probably like 7 boxes.
And in order to unload it into the expo, we had to pay,
Oh God.
we would have had to pay the union guys to unload our boxes, and I believe it was $200 for every 100 pounds of stuff. And that might be low actually. I think it was closer to 300 or 400.
yeah.
So it was going to cost us maybe $2,000 to unload all our stuff and take it 30 yards.
Yeah. It's fucking
That was
nuts.
what they were trying to charge us. It was insane.
Yeah.
And so you think about it, that's just not even counting setup, hotels, gas,
Food.
the booth price, just base price. So you're spending thousands of dollars, and
Right.
sometimes, at those expos, you don't get as much traffic as they advertise.
For sure.
Yeah, like
yeah, you always got to dwindle it down a little bit, whatever
Yeah.
they say.
whatever the number they tell you, like, oh, there's gonna be 25,000 people here,
Probably.
and for some
15
reason
tops.
at that expo there was like nobody.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's other stuff going on around
Right.
that same time, but there was nobody, and so it's very hard for like not saying that we're smaller brands, but like when you think of like the smaller brands, not like Optimum or bodybuilding.com that have thousands of
Yeah.
dollars in marketing budget, it becomes expensive, especially when you start going out of state. Like that was only 8 hours from here.
Yeah,
If
dude.
we went to the Arnold, that's a flight.
Yeah. Well, and
you gotta fly all this shit out there.
Aside from all these costs and stuff, you still need to show up and sell some stuff and make a profit, so it's all worth it.
And you end up spending more time just kind of working on stupid shit like just you have to stay at the booth, you have to sell all this stuff, you can't really go around and meet people. And so I don't think, honestly, we probably will not do any big expos. It's like set up booth wise, because I don't think really it's necessary. If you guys want to buy the stuff, you know, we have a gym where you guys can come in and buy stuff, or we have an online store. Like,
well,
and social media is such a powerful tool that I mean, it's really not hard. The link is everywhere.
I was gonna get to that. So like back in the day before social media, right? It was like you go to these expos and you learn about a lot of new companies. And nowadays, social media, you can get your name in front of literally millions of people for nothing. So it's like people already know about your shit. They don't need to go to an expo, a fitness thing, to learn about like fitness companies.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So that, I mean, I don't know. It's hard. It's just hard to justify setting up. So I think we're more going to be more focused this year on kind of setting up at more like smaller things that are more personal and people can really get to know us as people, which is very powerful. And it's kind of more fun.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like that. So I think that's going to be the focus. And it's just funny how it all changes. Because when we started, it was like...
The goal was to go to one of those big expos.
Yeah, we thought, like you have to do that.
Like, oh, we're going to get a booth at the Olympia. Like, that's what we need to do to kind of establish ourselves. And in reality, you don't need that. Like, look at First Form. They don't do any expos.
Right.
They have people at every expo. Like, they have, like, a group of people that always goes to every expo. But they don't...
No.
They don't take the time. And there's a reason. I mean, they have a great following. They have a great social media. They don't need the expo.
Yeah. And
really, it's just the expo is kind of a way for just to make money. They're making money off of the companies, basically.
Right. Yeah.
There's a couple companies that run the expos, and they make money off the companies.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
Even the price of going to the expos, just going.
Yeah, dude. Everything, man.
It's... I don't know. I think I did a video about it. Like, is the Olympia dying? Like, I think the expo circuit is kind of outside of like the major one, like the Arnold, because like that one everyone's always going to go to, just because there's so much history there, whatnot. But like the expos seem to, like every expo we go to, I'm like, damn, this is a little smaller than last year.
I know, dude, for sure.
So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see where the expos are at in a couple years.
Yeah.
Unless they do something drastic to revamp it.
They just need to cut the cost of setting up.
Yeah, really, honestly, because then they'll get more people just going to the expo. They'll make more money off ticket sales than they will the booth vendors. Yeah, and that's what they need to start focusing on.
Yeah, if you could promote that, this year we're going to have a whole another room open. It's going to be twice the size as last year. You're going to get way more fucking people.
How many vendors do you think were at the LA Fit this year?
I don't know. 200.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that too many? 200. Each booth is like 8 by 8.
I'm trying to think. There were probably what, like 10 rows? 10 rows of booths?
I would say like 10 full rows. Like,
and there's probably
like
what,
5 to 10 booths.
Yeah, like probably maybe like closer to 400, maybe.
Yeah, I would say
So let's say 400. So imagine if there were 600.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you could get 200 more booths in there.
Right.
That's a lot.
And it's not like they didn't have room for that. You could definitely. There was a lot of empty space. You could definitely fit those booths in.
Yeah.
Imagine if they had that.
Well, and if it was cheaper to set up, you could invest more money in marketing things or whatever.
Exactly.
Have better booths, quality booths.
Do giveaways or whatever, you know.
So, Fit Expo, if you guys are hiring, what's up? Because I got some good fucking ideas for you.
we really do, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think it seems pretty clear what they should do, but I don't know. The whole dynamic is interesting for sure. Because I know a lot of people that follow us are into. I've done like surveys on like who's into like small business stuff, and have you ever thought about like starting a company?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, way more than I expected, which is awesome, have said they're interested and thought about it. So, I would imagine some of those people are listening to this. So that's just some advice if you're trying to get into the fitness industry.
Yeah, don't become focused so much about going national with like these big expos.
Yeah.
Focus on your brand, like building your brand through social media, and then maybe the local, like grassroots kind of thing, where you're building up around local competitions and local shows and stuff, and start building up from there. Because literally, honestly, my favorite expo that we've ever like been to from like a business standpoint has been the Emerald Cup every year.
I know.
Like it's a small expo. There's maybe 50 booths.
Yeah, and not a lot of people, from what I can see, not a lot of people were put that much effort into it.
Yeah,
I guess.
And
so we stood out. I mean, this is fun, dude.
It's fun.
We kill that shit.
It's cheap. It's not expensive for companies to set up there.
Yeah.
You know, so you can do it right. Like you can get a good booth going, and it's fun. Like it's a good atmosphere. People want to be there. They're really receptive to brands. Like,
it's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I love doing that stuff. But
yeah,
anyways, that's kind of my thoughts on the whole expo thing, and I hope it helped.
Yeah. Words of gems. That's gems right there from Rob Tramonte.
But I could talk about this stuff all day, dude.
We could make that a
I
segment.
think about it all day, so it's fucking easy to talk about.
We should make that a segment, like a weekly segment.
Or I just post shit out of my ass and talk about it.
Just bullshit for like 10 minutes about small business stuff.
Bullshit by Rob.
Trademarked. That's trademarked right there.
Helpful bullshit from Rob.
Oh man.
What are we at right now, time wise?
35.
No,
35.
Oh, it's 3:35 right now. I don't know.
we got about 20 minutes.
All right, cool.
All right. So, should we talk about like working out there, like the gym? Like we went to Gold's Venice. That was pretty
tight.
cool.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Sean Roden. What's his name?
Yeah, Sean Roden was there,
Roden was there.
which is super funny because Jeremy, I guess, didn't recognize him or something. And he turned to me. He was right next to us. He turns to me and goes, like, you said something like,
I was like, that dude's IFBB. I'm like, that
You're
dude's
like-
pro.
yeah,
You can
that
just
dude
tell.
kind of looks like a bodybuilder or something like that. I'm like, yeah, he's like he's literally one of the best in the
He's
world.
been on the Olympia stage
In the world.
a few times.
Yeah,
You
so
guys,
that was dope.
I was tired.
It's so crazy though. You can
And you're
definitely
a
you can
child.
tell. Like when you see a guy, you can be like, that guy.
Yeah.
He is like high level.
Yeah.
It's just the look that they have.
Yeah.
There's just genetically there's a difference.
Yeah.
For sure, dude.
That's insane.
Like kind of like when you look at me, you're like, man, he's a pro.
Yeah.
I'm
Pro
okay.
sandwich eater.
I had 2 McGriddles today for breakfast.
Did you eat Cheetos for breakfast the other day? That was tight. and then you hit a PR on the squats.
I know. So
Yo, talk about your experience
Oh yeah,
at
we didn't even
Ironworks.
talk about that.
Yeah,
yeah, you
Iron
guys
Axe.
kind of just were like, hey, fuck you, and I was
They were
like,
like, nobody cares about that, Jay.
This is-
Moving
This
on.
is huge, dude.
so I haven't squatted. I haven't squatted in I don't even know how long. Not because I'm like, oh fuck squats, but lately with work and a lot of stuff that's been going on, it's just been really hard for me to get in there and get serious about the gym. And for whatever reason, squats are kind of one of the things that I decide to not do because I can do chest or back.
Oh.
Well, also based on like equipment and stuff.
Also
you have
based on
available,
equipment
yeah.
too. But we were there at Iron Addicts, and I haven't squatted in a while, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do the squat competition with a bunch of these strong-ass motherfuckers.
At the very end.
At the very end, so all the attention was on, like, us 4 dudes. It
Yeah,
was
because at
me-
first it was only like you and like maybe 2 other guys that were gonna squat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, Jay's got this. You know, it's only 3 of them going.
Yeah,
And
we're
then-
like, wow.
And then all of a sudden, this huge dude, his name's Truth. He's a part of a gym gang,
IFBB Pro.
IFBB Pro. IFBB Pro Truth. He's actually a super cool dude. He decided to join. I was like, okay, tight, I lost. That's cool.
Looking like a fucking balloon.
Looking like
that
a
dude was
balloon.
massive.
Anyways, though, so it was tight. We were all warming up and everything like that. I was warming up and hit 135 for a couple sets of however many I did. And then Big Rob,
Big Rob did it.
Big Rob did it.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was like,
Get it right, bro.
Big Rob did it. He's like, okay, we're going to start off at 405. And I'm like, tight. That's like my working set of 5. So
Yeah.
sick.
The face just dropped.
Yeah,
We were just looking at Jay like,
I wish
what the
I wish
hell?
you guys could see the video because I don't remember who it was that got a video of me, but they literally zoom in on me and I'm like, shit.
Yeah, well, I think everybody did.
Because I was like, I haven't squatted in so long. These guys are gonna jump through the roof
Yeah.
with
Plus,
405.
If you think about it, you're starting at 405. So where does that mean you're gonna end? Like,
Exactly.
That's the low point of
Yeah.
the bar.
And so Mooney's like, hey bro, you should warm up. And I'm like, oh, I'm warm. And he's like, you should really warm up. And
Yeah,
I'm-
dude.
And so
Both of
I'm
us were like looking at you, just standing there about to hit the 405 and shit. And we're like,
I've only hit.
We're like, dude.
stressing too. Like your face was a look of like somebody
Yeah.
come get me.
you hit like 3 air squats. And we're like,
I'm
yeah,
good. I'm good.
I'm good, bro.
I'm warm. Anyways,
We're
so
looking, me and Mooney are on the sidelines looking at each other like, this dude's about to blow his shit out. We're about to.
His
we're not
spine's
even gonna
about to
hit that
shoot
spot.
through his ass. Like
Yeah, so we're looking out for you, dude.
So there's like I was third to go. So the 2 dudes hit it, beltless, totally smoked it, and I was like, tight. I'm going in there, knee sleeves, a belt, ready to get fucked up. And I hit it, and it was pretty smooth. I'm not even gonna lie.
Good. It
405.
It was a lot smoother than I was thinking it was gonna be.
It looked good, man.
Yeah, and so I was like, cool, like, 455 will be my next one. And they're like, no, we don't do that. We just go up by plates. And I'm like, sick. I haven't hit
495.
I'm like, tight. The last time I squatted 495? Probably 6 months ago. That's legitimately and it was a grinder. So I definitely
that was like your PR.
That's
almost.
that's kind of when I was peaking in strength too. That's when I was like a lot more consistent. And I was like 495, let's go. Yeah, haven't hit it in like 6 months.
Yeah,
so I'm expected to hit it now, and I'm like,
well, not even just that. Like just jumping from 405 to 495, that's a massive jump.
Well,
especially at that high of
yeah.
weight.
And what's crazy is they're
jump.
like, okay, guys, warm up with 135, jump straight from 135 to 405, and then jump to 495.
Well, you got to think about it too. Some like 3 or 4 of those dudes that were squatting with you had already just maxed on deadlifts.
Well,
too.
in truth,
like what the fuck?
It was crazy because this is how I knew I lost.
Whoa.
Okay.
For anybody who doesn't know, you hit 495.
Oh yeah, so I hit 490.
Yeah.
So here's what happened.
Videos
Sorry,
on Twitter.
guys. Videos on Twitter, 12K views. And I'm just kidding.
at Jeremy J.
At Jeremy New GC.
Or did you change it?
I changed my username to Jeremy New GC. Anyways, guys, so I'm looking at 495, and then I'm looking at CT, and then I look at the bar, and then I look at CT again, and then I look at the bar again, and I'm like, fuck. I literally say fuck in front of CT and everyone around.
It's not like he's never heard that word before, though.
Oh, I know, but it's
was
just
funny.
I basically just let everyone know, like, hey, there's a high chance I'm not gonna get this.
It was motivational as fuck.
You were like at the bar, and you're like,
You walked up to it with a frown. And I'm like, that's our guy, dude.
pretty sure
Go kill
pretty sure
that
the
shit.
last words you said before you got onto the bar, you're like, my squat is trash.
I
I got
lit-
onto the bar.
Dude, I literally called 911 before you hit the bar.
I
So it was tough.
literally was like, my squat's so trash, and then I unrack it and I hit it, and it was
good.
crazy.
It
Yeah,
moved not bad.
I hit a depth too.
Oh yeah, you buried that
I
shit.
buried that. Yeah, actually, someone commented on that video on Twitter. They were like, that depth though, and I was like, that's
You
how
buried
I
it.
roll.
You buried it.
Oh yeah, dude.
That was awesome.
And it moved well. Like once you got past like that little sticking point,
Yeah.
it flew up. So
I was a little slow out of the hole, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that my right knee comes in a lot, and so I really have to. And a lot of that's like hip mobility problems that I have.
glute strength.
Yeah,
too.
and glute strength,
which is
and I think the fact that it's my right leg that does that is because I tore my right Achilles when I was a sophomore in high school, and I never got surgery on it. The doctor just told me to let it heal the way it did. So the strength in my right ankle and calf is just totally trash, which causes, I think, problems in my whole right leg.
By the way, I hope that doctor no longer practices medicine because that is the worst advice
I know.
ever.
I
It's like
know.
not even advice.
I'm like
Let's
a,
let
I'm like
your
a kid. I'm like, oh,
Achilles
it can
just
heal. Yeah.
on its own.
Oh, I
After you
can't even-
snap that shit.
For those of you who also don't know, I can't even push off my right foot. Like I
Do you have to
no
pay for that
strength.
advice?
That is not.
Oh yeah, probably like 2 G's.
That is
Oh,
not
dude,
how
makes
you
sense.
heal your Achilles. You for sure get surgery.
Anyways,
Fuck
so
that
yeah,
guy.
I hit it.
Fuck that guy.
I hit
Fuck
it, and then everyone else hit it without a belt, and I was like tight. And then Truth actually warmed up
you.
at
Yeah,
4.
He went 135, 495.
Yeah, he went.
He's like, nah, I'm not even gonna waste my time with 405.
No,
We're like, okay, cool, that's awesome.
And so after 495, I was done. I was like, that's it for me. That was a grinder. I'm not trying to blow an O-ring. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
it wouldn't have been smart for you to go 495, 585. Like,
yeah, and here's why it wouldn't have been smart, because I wouldn't have gotten it.
well, not even just that,
It would
but
have been
like
embarrassing.
mentally. First off, what is that? That's your max is 5, right? That's your PR. So you're
Yeah.
going
Yeah, I've
85
only-
pounds above your PR after not squatting for 6 months, really?
Tight.
So that's how you snap your shit.
That's how my
Yeah,
shit.
James and I were just looking at each other like he's done. Dude.
I was like,
Like we took you out. You're out of the game, bro.
Tap.
And the funniest,
You're
one of the funniest things happened. So one of the main judge, the head judge. So there was this main judge, and then there's CT Fletcher, and he was like, I let him know. I was like, hey, I'm done, man. Like, I lost. I already knew I lost at 135 when I was warming up, and he was like, hey, I just want to let you know, you in order to win the challenge, you have to compete against somebody. And he's like, and you're competing against Truth. And I was like, oh, I know. I was like, I already know. I was like, when he decided to compete, I knew I lost because
This
he's
dude's
huge as fuck. I'm like, when he decided to go from 135, actually, he didn't even warm up with us.
Oh,
He just went.
He didn't go
He went
135.
fresh.
Actually,
He
you're
went
right.
fresh into 495, and I was like, oh, tight, beltless, and high bar. The motherfucker's a beast.
He's
Yeah.
big. And he probably weighs like what, 250?
Man, I don't even think he was 250.
I don't think.
Our
Yeah,
homeboy's like maybe
he's
220 because he was short.
small, like from like a weight standpoint.
Yeah.
But from a size standpoint, he is massive.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, I already know I lost, and I was just like cracking jokes. I was like, I told the judge, I was like, did you see my 495? And I actually made CT crack up,
Oh yeah.
and that was probably one of my highlights because honestly, that's CT Fletcher. And I
Right.
cracked a joke, and he thought it was funny. So
I think the coolest part about that whole thing with like you participating is like now, first of all, you got the respect from all those guys.
Yeah.
Now you're like, you're
At least
actually
you
like
did it,
homies.
yeah.
You're homies with them. We saw Truth the next day, and you guys like,
Yeah, it
said
was
what's up.
it was crazy. There was
You know?
actually a couple instances during the expo the next day. Truth actually came out of his booth to talk to me. He was like, "Hey man," he's like, "Hey bro, good job last night."
Yeah,
and was
dude.
tight, and I was like, "Good job, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Good job to you, Mr. 750 squat." Like,
Yeah,
tight.
He finished with, I think it was close to 750.
Yeah, but it was
And
cool
he
actually.
Did he do it for a
I
single?
think he did it for like 2 or
No,
something.
actually, maybe I think he did that for 1, but he did the one before that. He did
He-
for 3.
he hit like 6 something.
he hit
for
six-
three.
He hit 675 for 3, and
nonstop.
then went 725 for a single.
Yeah, and it was really cool actually. A lot of the guys from Gym Gang showed me a lot of love. Even dudes from Strength Cartel, I walked by and one of them recognized me, so I was like, "Oh, that's tight." And then CT recognized me right off the bat. We went and hung out with them a little bit behind the booth, and CT recognized me, and I thought that was super sick. And so did Samson, because I actually spent a lot of time talking to Samson, which was cool, because Samson is nothing like he is on social media in person. And I mean
He's
that,
one of the nicest people.
and I
I've
mean
ever
that
met.
in a positive way.
Yeah,
Anyone who follows Samson kind of knows that he has like
He's
this.
flamboyant.
He is very flamboyant, and he kind of is almost seems a little arrogant on social media. He's nothing like that in person. He's
Dude,
probably one of the nicest, most kind-hearted people I've ever met.
We
It
were all-
blew my mind.
We were all calling him Saint Samson.
Yeah, I was like, that motherfucker's a saint.
He was seriously like.
Yeah, I was like, hey, it was really good meeting you, and he was like, it was great meeting you, and I was like, it was? Like, why?
Who am I?
I'm like, you have like 200,000 followers on Instagram. I'm like, I'm struggling to get 6,300 right now.
And when you think about it, like that's kind of the that's probably part of the reason why he gets so much hate on social media. Like everybody hates on him.
Yeah.
That's
you
what
know?
Tank was saying.
And everybody hates on him, and so
Yeah.
he's putting up this barrier because like he just gets so much hate on social media. But literally, he is one of the nicest people. Like
it blew my mind.
super humble,
it blew
super
my mind,
nice.
yeah.
It was crazy.
Every
Yeah.
single time he
It was
saw
cool,
me,
man.
dude, he was like, he's so genuine too. It was nuts, man. I
Well,
took
yeah.
about 3 pictures with him because of how dope he was.
Aside from him, I mean, there was tons of just.
Everyone
fun
was
guys.
cool. Mike Rashid, he was cool. He was super cool. His booth was actually super tight.
Yeah. That's what people don't get is like the fitness. Like there's a lot of douchebags in the fitness industry, but there's a lot of really genuine, super great people.
I think
You know,
more nice.
Yeah,
people
you just
than
kind of
not.
you got to scratch the surface a little bit, to find these people. Like, I mean, you look at Bradley Martin or Samson, and you're like, oh, they give off like a certain vibe on their social media,
Yeah.
but then they're super great people in
Yeah.
person. Like, I don't know.
For sure.
You can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah,
You
definitely
definitely
don't do
can.
that shit.
That was one of the that was probably one of the biggest things that I learned coming out of this expo is like you have no idea how a person is just because they post something on social media or just because they may act a certain way or put on a show or something. That may not be how they are in real life.
Oh, it's just a snapshot. It's just
yeah.
a snapshot of that person. Yeah. Like even on a micro scale,
Yeah.
like we don't have, 100,000+ followers, but we get some of that shit too. Like I remember I was getting somebody like, how come you only train that? Like, well, I just posted that. Like
Yeah.
obviously I'm not
Yeah.
posting my entire workout.
There's
right?
the thing. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that no one has any clue about.
Yeah.
So
you
it's
know.
like
This is,
takes-
this is a whole different subject.
yeah, but I mean,
The whole being on,
but
We'll have to
be
make
negative.
another
Yeah,
podcast.
this will-
episode.
I can talk about this shit.
we can talk
Ah,
for hours. We can
ooh.
talk for hours about this, but like basically the takeaway is that don't judge people by
Yeah.
just a glimpse into their life. Like
Yeah.
you're not seeing everything. You're not seeing what's going on behind the scenes. You're just seeing what they're putting out, and
Yep.
so
Highlight reel.
yeah, it's just a highlight reel.
for sure.
Exactly.
And that's what the trolls out there need to fucking realize.
And on that note, but if you're listening, please hit subscribe and leave a review. Thanks. So, anyways, that's pretty much our experience.
Yeah. I think we should kind of start to wrap it up a little bit.
Let's do it.
But yeah, takeaway. What's your takeaway from this weekend? Let's do one little takeaway for each of us.
I think just from an overall networking standpoint, it was just incredible. It blew away every single expo we've had so far, and I think we're building legitimate relationships with people, and like we just said, getting to know people like for who they really are, and deciding to surround ourselves with those people. And I don't know. I think there's nothing but positive things that come from it. So that's it. It was an awesome fucking weekend.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a lot of fun.
What about you, Jay?
I don't even know what to take away.
What was your takeaway?
What
was
did
the highlight then? Highlight or takeaway?
I think Iron Addicts, man. I think just like the small relationship that I formed with like the people from Iron Addicts, and just like getting to, because I feel like besides meeting everyone, the fact that I competed and the fact that I spent like some like quality time with a lot of those dudes, like that was just crazy to me that they were even interested at all, and just like kind of getting to know me.
That makes it all worth it.
Yeah, and for me, that was just like I just built a relationship with some dude who has like 1 million followers. Like, this is crazy to me, Yeah. And I think the whole like don't judge a book by its cover thing too was one of the biggest things I took away. Yeah, after meeting Samson, I was like, "Fuck," you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you rethink everything.
Change your
absolutely,
completely.
absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think my takeaway is like it kind of this whole weekend made me fall in love with the fitness thing more. The relationships, and like even just being down there with you guys, just hanging out, bullshitting, like that's awesome. But then like the community, like the people at Iron Addicts, running into people at the fitness expo, the community, being around people that are supportive and positive, it's fucking awesome. It's a great experience. If you get the opportunity to go to an expo, I highly recommend you take advantage of it, at least for 1 day.
Absolutely.
Hit up the Olympia, hit up the Arnold, hit up the LA Fit, one of those. There's a bunch of expos, but definitely do it because it's great to be around like-minded individuals, and it's also great to just immerse yourself in like the culture, like the fitness culture. It's a small brand, or it's a small thing in the grand scheme of things, but it's a very tight-knit community.
It is, yeah.
All right. So
anyway,
that's pretty much it, you guys.
Shout out to LA Fit. Shout out to our guy Buddy, aka Tank, down at Iron Axe, because he took care of us this weekend. It was awesome.
He did, man.
He's a great guy.
He's the fucking man.
He is. Shout out to CT too, dude.
Yeah.
Shout out to CT for just like showing all the love that he showed and putting on Iron Wars
is a great thing.
Just everything.
I'm excited for next year.
Motivating my ass, dude. I was squatting and he's like, "Get that shit," and I was like, "Hey, I have to get it now."
Yeah.
It was tight, man. It was tight. The whole experience was just out of this world for me, anyways.
Yeah, it's a great thing. Anyway, appreciate you guys for watching or listening to this, whichever one you're doing at the moment.
It's also on YouTube if you guys
it's on YouTube.
Didn't realize.
On the Gunsmith Clothing Co. main channel.
Yep.
But yeah, appreciate you guys for listening. Make sure you guys leave a review, a 5-star review, hopefully. It really helps us build the podcast. All right. Anyway, it's James Mooney.
It's Jeremy.
Rob Tremonti.
Thanks for listening. Check you guys out next week. Peace.
Take it easy.